D-Lo 404 Boxing. All right, y'all. Keith Thurman made his return last night. Served me a fat plate of crow. Let me get that right out the way. I did pick Barrios to stop Keith Thurman in this fight. I picked him to stop him in the 7th round. Shame on me for underestimating Keith Thurman or overestimating Barrios, whichever one it was. And much respect to Keith Thurman for going out there, putting on a great exhibition of boxing, and doing his best to remind people why he was once considered the top welterweight in the world. As for the fight itself, Keith Thurman took control of the fight early on and pretty much maintained that control. You know, he pretty much, I think at best, I don't remember exactly how I scored it because I wasn't typing the score in as I was listening to Trey X call the fight on Marlowe's Corner. And I was watching the fight at the same time, even though my fight was about an hour behind. I mean, not an hour, about a minute behind in terms of time. So it was kind of difficult, but basically, I think I gave Barrios, I think I may have found 2 rounds to give Barrios, if maybe 3 at the most, but I want to say it was 2. And in those rounds, he hurt Keith Thurman, but he also, you know what I'm saying, he also was the aggressor in those rounds. But for the most part, it was pretty much a shutout. You know, I mean, honestly, even with those rounds, you can argue for somebody giving Keith Thurman all 12 rounds. You know, I mean, it was that much of a shutout. We know Barrios was coming off the KO loss to Tank down at 140. We know Keith Thurman was coming off a long layoff stoppage, a long layoff and a loss to Manny Pacquiao, in which he himself was dropped and hurt a few times in that fight. But ultimately, Keith Thurman is supposed to be a class of boxer above Mario Barrios in terms of you know, who he is, his stature, amateur pedigree, his pro accomplishments, level of opposition he's faced, and everything else. So this was a for lack of a better term, this was a setup fight for Keith Thurman, or a showcase fight. Let's just say showcase. I like that better. This was a showcase fight for Keith Thurman to go out there and do his thing and look good and remind people that he is one of the top guys at 147 pounds and that his name deserves to be mentioned when you start talking about potential matchups. You know, so it remains to be seen what Keith Thurman does next. I don't see him getting in the way of the winner of Errol Spence Jr. versus Dennis Ugas potentially fighting Terrence Crawford. I don't see him getting in the middle of that one way or the other, whether that's trying to fight Crawford or whether that's trying to fight the winner. My preferred fight for him would be to face the loser of Errol Spence Jr. versus Dennis Ugas. I think that makes the most sense. I think that basically is a way for him to show that if by comparison how he stacks up against the winner of the fight, and then puts his name right back in the conversation for the top fights. He says he wants belts. You know, the only belt I see him having a shot at right now, or that I feel like he should have a shot at, is potentially the IBO belt, and I'm not even sure who has that title because I don't keep up with it. But IBO champion Keith Thurman says send him a contract. Say he wants the champions. He said whoever sends him the contract, that's who he's entertaining. So we'll see. But I don't want to see Keith Thurman in there versus Bud Crawford. I don't want to see him versus the winner of Spence and Ugas. So, you know, not that I don't think either of those guys beat him. I just don't feel like Keith Thurman has done what he needs to do to put himself in those shots, in that type of fight. And even if he went out and stopped Barrios in 1 minute inside of the first round, excuse me, I had already said that I don't feel like that should catapult him into the conversation of, you know, fighting the champions at 147 pounds right now. The guy simply needs to do more. You can't just rest on past accomplishments and think that you know what I'm saying, that somehow puts you in the upper echelon just because you made a return. But that's all I got on the D-Lo 404 Boxing. Once again, congrats to Keith Thurman going out there getting that win. And Keith, I'm watching and I'm eager to see what's next for you. You know what I'm saying? I like to see how you progress in your career. I don't want to see you sitting on the couch or have another long layoff. Let's get back to it. Got a great cornerman in Dan Birmingham. Let's see what y'all can put together, because I know Dan's gonna have you ready, because Dan knows his stuff. That's all I got on D-Lo 404 Boxing. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm out.